Hello everybody and welcome to the C# Basics course introduction. My name is Svetlin Nakov and I'm a technical trainer from Bulgaria, the main founder of the software university. And today we'll have two topics. The first we will introduce the C# Basics course, the trainers, the training program, the exam system, the score system used for evaluation of your skills. And later, I'll start with the next topic, which is the basics of computer programming, and we'll show you how to write simple programs in C# and how to use Visual Studio to compile, debug programs, etc., etc. So let me first present this course. It's part of a large program called Software University. It's 2 years non-academic degree. It's practical training for software engineers. And this is just the first steps in programming this course, and it will serve as a basics for your next level trainings. We'll continue with Java development in Linux environment. We'll continue with HTML and CSS, as well as basics of JavaScript and PHP, and later we'll get further into software development with object-oriented programming, and other more practical technologies like databases, web development, etc., etc. So this is the very early start. You will not become a master in programming after this course, but you have some basic technical skills for starting your training to become software engineer. So this is the start of the start. If you fail in this course, you need to repeat it and take it again, or just find that this profession is not for you, because it's not for everybody. Some people are good in cooking, others are for taxi drivers. Not everyone is for software engineer, and you have a good opportunity to see in practice whether you like programming, whether programming works well for you, and whether you want to continue with the software university, because you will need to pass more than 20 courses, and this is only the first of them. So I will explain the course objectives, the course program, we'll introduce you the trainers team, and we'll explain about our examinations and the score system, score-based system, for evaluating, which involves not only the exams but also homeworks, practical projects, forum discussions, and other special things. So finally, I will present the learning resources required for this course, things like textbooks, things like software that you need to install at your machine, and things like hardware that you may need. For example, what kind of laptop will serve you best for this and for the next courses at the software university. This content is free. It's licensed under the Creative Commons license, as it's written here, attribution, non-commercial, share-alike license. And this course comes to you due to the Software University Foundation. This is the non-commercial part of the Software University, because the Software University is a place where you can come and become a software engineer, and will help you to find you a good job in the industry. But the Software University Foundation is a non-commercial organization which distributes knowledge and skills for software engineers for free worldwide. So that's why we are recording these videos, and we'll distribute them not only in Bulgaria, where they come from, but in the whole world. And one day, I believe, we'll have a big collection with maybe hundreds of courses and thousands of lessons, and most of them will be also available in English, because developers outside of Bulgaria are 1,000 times more than inside Bulgaria. So let's continue with the C# Basics course introduction. In fact, it's just named C# basics. The focus is not on C#, but the focus is on becoming a developer. To become a developer, you need to learn several things, to learn how to think as a developer, to learn how to solve problems, to work some basic data structures, algorithms, and to learn to code, coding skills. Some people think that today coding skills are essential skills like English, like writing, like reading, like summing numbers with like basic mathematics, etc., etc., etc. And this course will teach you on the first steps in programming, and will use C# language as a tool to illustrate coding. We can change C# with any other language, and these fundamental first steps will remain the same. So if we need to translate this course in Java, we'll just change a few of the slides with something similar in Java, but the concept of programming, the way of thinking when you program, is the same. And in the software university, we'll focus our main efforts to teach you how to program well, because many people program, but less of them, some of them only program correctly, and we'll teach you to become a master in computer programming, but this will take time. And you need to spend some time here in class, some lectures like currently you're listening, and some exercises in class with our assistants who will come later. And you need to put several times more effort at home. Your primary education is at home. I'll repeat this to you several times because it's important to find that you will not become software engineer just for 2 times weekly, 4 hours. It's completely not enough. You need many times more time to spend on coding. To become a good software engineer, you need to have 10,000 hours spent in programming. This is a psychological fact. It's not valid only for software engineers, but for other professions as well. And at the software university, for 2 years, you take only 3,000 hours of work in coding. This is, we assume that serious people from you, because not everyone from you are serious, serious people will put 8 to 10 to 12 hours every day, and for one year, this makes 3,000 hours spent in front of the computer solving problems. If you don't do this, you will just not become a software engineer, and probably you will not pass forward in our training courses, because after each course, we have more than 20 courses, you have exam, which is practical exam, writing computer programs in class, and people who cannot take this exam will be able to repeat their training in the last course, or just drop out and find another job. So let's explain a bit about the course objectives and the learning curriculum, the program, and what we shall expect to learn from this course if we put enough effort. If you don't put enough effort, for example, if you just come to training clubs, you learn nothing, guaranteed. If you put at least 5 times more time at home, you learn more. Exceptions are possible if you are not absolute beginner. For example, some people program at school, some people come to Olympiad, some people just play with coding from 5 years, when they were 5 years old, etc., etc., etc. But these are exceptions. If you are absolute beginner, like most of you I expect to be, you need to put 8 to 10 hours every day, otherwise you will fail. Or at least you will not be good enough to grade graduate the software university. Our statistics show that only 15 to 20% in the years graduate. So from 1,000 people, the last academic year, only 185 people graduated. The others failed at the first exam, was the most of them, at the second last, and as far as exams pass and pass and pass, people become stronger and stronger and stronger, and dropouts at the final stages are less than dropouts at the beginnings, because not everyone has this way of thinking, has enough ambition, puts enough effort to become software engineer. So this course will serve as a test for yourself to check up whether programming is for you or for not. If you fail, that's not a problem. You can find another job. For example, become a Photoshop designer or network IT infrastructure engineer or just taxi driver. So this course will give you only the first steps in computer programming, the very, very first steps, things like what is compiler, what is integrated development environment, IDE, what are variables and how we work with memory, with different data types in computer programming. It will introduce you the basics of the control flow logics, things like if constructions, if else, things like switch case, etc., etc., etc. Whoops, which allows you to repeat some pieces of the code many times until some condition happens or not happens. And we'll work a bit with the console, and we'll take input from the standard console, and we'll output some text in the console. That's the scope of our course, and it's really a very first steps, because you will not learn how to create mobile applications or how to create data-driven web applications. This is about technologies, creating mobile and web applications, but we'll work basics of programming, because if you want to become a good software engineer, you need first to learn to program, and later learn to use certain technologies which will give you some profession. For example, if you want to make iOS applications, you need to learn Objective-C, which is language some kind similar to C#, some kind not enough similar, but you need to learn also Xcode as a development environment. Now we'll start with Visual Studio, and you need to learn a lot of technologies, things like how to invoke a web service, how to create a dialog box, how to create button, how to create menu, how to run things in a background process, etc., etc., etc. But this is advanced. If we compare this with writing, if you want to become a good novel writer, you need first to learn the alphabet. Now we're starting with the alphabet. Once you learn the alphabet, you learn how to make simple sentences. Once you learn how to write sentences, you learn how to write bigger pieces of text, etc., etc., etc. And finally, you become a novelist after 5 years, for example, extensive learning. The same applies for any other skill and any other profession. So with the programming, we now start with the alphabet. Alphabet here is what is compiler, how to write 3 lines of code in C#, how to print your name, things like how to print the numbers for 1 to 100, etc., etc., etc. Later we'll write programs in few hundreds lines of code, and one day we will write programs in few thousand hundreds lines of code. One of our basic objectives here in this course is to establish the so-called algorithmic thinking inside you. This is something partially given, partially genetically, that genetically comes in you, but it's partially thing that you develop and develop over the time. Uh, Algorithmic thinking is also called mathematical thinking or just thinking. People who can think can become software engineers. People who cannot think, who are not good in thinking, who are not smart, cannot become a software engineers. But not all smart people can become software engineers because this is a specific way of thinking. There are people who are good in sports, others are good in design, in art, etc. And others are good in the mathematical or algorithmical or logical thinking. These are the people who are good for engineering. Engineering means to take some problem and to solve it. It's related to problem solving, and it's related to delivering outputs, to deliver something. For example, to make a program that completes something, or to make a hardware which does some job. So development of this way of thinking is partially something that we will develop here, and partially that something is given in you or it's not given in you, in some of you. We'll practice a lot of problem solving. Problem solving is the way to develop this thinking. Problem solving means to invite a method to solve something. Or if you need to build a house, logical people will say, okay, we need to have finances, we need to have an architectural plan, we need to have materials, we need to have workers, we need to have first to put the bases, later to build the constructions, later to build the other details like electrical system, like canalization, or maybe this word is not in English. And finally to put the windows and to put the okay. So logical thinking is developed through problem solving. So we will solve hundreds of problems constantly every day. After each topic in our courses, in all of our courses, you have to solve 10 to 20 problems at home. You have help from your classmates, from as well as from our assistants and from our trainers, and you have additionally teamwork projects that you will be split into teams of 5 people, average, for each team, and you will be given assignment to write some more complex projects. For example, to make the Tetris game. Do you play Tetris? Sometimes? Yeah, but you need to write your own Tetris implementation as part of your teamwork. And this will be the simple teamworks. The more complex teamworks will be to write your own Facebook, for example. But this is at the end of our first year. So the basic objective and result that you can expect from this course is to prepare you for learning other languages and software technologies. But the skills and knowledge you acquire in this course will be highly reusable in any other language or technology you will learn next. For example, the Java course, the Java Basics course in the Software University is just the same material, the same learning objectives like in the C# Basics, but just translated into the Java language. Now we'll start with C# and Visual Studio and Windows environment, and most of you will feel comfortable in this environment. But for the Java course, we'll switch to Linux, to Eclipse. You'll find that not everything runs that with next. You will need to use the console to write some commands, etc., to cope with some special things. But this will make you a harder, more powerful developer, because developer who uses only one language, he is not good. He's not strong. He is not. He cannot be strong because our industry requires that you need to know everything, at least the first steps in everything, and to be very good in what you today do. So you need to learn a bit Java, a bit Ruby, a bit Python, a bit HTML, a bit hardware, a bit networking, a bit software, operating systems, intelligent systems, etc., 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 etc. Even soft skills, things like communicating with people, etc. And to be very, 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 very good in what you currently do. So this is our understanding of how a good developer can be educated, and that's why we first put the basics of programming as essential skill for software developers. Later, we upgrade these essential skills just into other languages and tools like Java with Eclipse and Linux, like PHP in Linux environment integrated with Apache web server, with mod PHP, with eventually MySQL. Later we'll learn HTML and CSS, which are not so related with Java, PHP, and C#, but they are languages for user interface description, and you will learn several of such languages during your work as a software engineer. And later we'll upgrade our programming skills into JavaScript and PHP, which are some kind similar to C# and Java. I have PHP 2 times. Now I notice in my slides. And, but a bit different because C# and Java are traditional object-oriented languages, but JavaScript and PHP are scripting languages, and they are dynamic. You can do more things in dynamic languages, but there are other things that are not good. For example, runtime, you doesn't know if some variable exists or not. For example, you don't know every time these languages are typeless. There are not strict type definitions, but we'll learn a lot about them later in these courses. We'll have Java course, PHP course, HTML and CSS course, JavaScript course, and PHP course, and this will lay the basics, and this is our first level. We are currently at the level 0. After graduating C# basics, this course could be more correctly called programming basics with C#. You will need to pass through the other basic courses, and later to specialize in some profession related to software engineer, for example, backend developer or web developer with PHP, which is a kind of web developer, or web developer with ASP.NET MVC, or web developer with Python and Django, or something different, mobile developer, which is different story, is different in Android platform, in iOS platform, etc., etc., etc. Or you can start with the QA, software quality assurance profession, which also requires development. So you need to learn to program. That's why you will need to graduate with a practical exam, which will be 5 problems solved in your computer, here in class, not from somewhere else, because someone could help you if you are not here physically. And if you don't pass this, we will not allow you to continue further, because you will be unable to learn the other things without these basics. What shall we cover in bigger details about the C# programming? Currently, I'm making the course introduction, and the next topic today will be introduction to programming and using Visual Studio, the IDE, integrated development environment. We will write simple programs. The next time the second training session will be about the data types, variables, and literals. We'll learn how to use variables and make simple calculations using variables and data types. We'll learn about integer types, types like dates, like strings, etc. The next training session and the next lesson will be about operators, expressions, statements. So you will be able to learn how to make simple programs, things that are not complex, that does not require conditional statements and control flow logics, things like calculating some things, like calculating the area of a circle by given radius and other input parameters. The next topic will be console basic input and output. We'll learn how to print information at the console. We'll learn how to print different data types, things like numbers, dates, strings, and others. And we'll learn how to read from the console the same data types, strings, how to parse string to number, because we cannot read numbers from C# directly. In Java we have good API, in C++ we have good API. In C# we don't have good API to read numbers directly. This will be one of the things that we should learn in our C# basics course. And it's related not directly to programming, but related specifically to C#. So our course is mix of programming concepts and C# specific and Visual Studio and .NET Framework specific things. Once you learn several programming language, you will find which of the skills are generic, which of the skills are fundamental, and which are the differences between the different programming languages. If you use 5 or 6 programming languages like you will do at the end of the software university, once you need to learn another language, it will take you a few weeks or a few days. Depends on how senior are you. For example, if I need to learn Python, I don't use Python currently, it will take me 1 or 2 days to learn the syntax and few other days to learn the basic APIs, and maybe in few weeks I'll become good. Not senior, but good enough, because programming is the fundamental skill, and different kinds of software technologies are repeated in every programming platform, language, and environment. In the software university, we will learn paradigms of the procedural programming, of the object-oriented programming, of functional programming, and these 3 paradigms are repeated in every programming language. We will learn how to make web applications, how to make user interface, how to make networking interface applications, how to work with databases, and this is repeated everywhere in every software system in the world. Even with the systems written in Fortran 30 years ago, similar principles were more or less applied. There were not web applications and mobile applications, but there was user interface, there was server-side processing, databases, and SQL is still a leader in the database concepts and in the industry. So let's get back to the course topics. The next topic after the console is making or using conditional statements to implement simple control flow logic. What does this mean? This means that the programming languages have the ability to check some condition and do something when this condition is correct, and do something else when this condition is not correct. For example, I can check whether the customer is physical person or a company and request different data. For the physical person, I can request the personal card ID, names, etc. But for the companies, I could request some tax VAT number, some company name, company phones, website, etc., etc., etc. So this will allow you to write a little bit more complex programs, but the real power will be unlocked when we learn how to use loops, because loops allow us to repeat things. For example, I can calculate the first 1,000 prime numbers. And to do this, I need to perform a loop from 1 to 1 million, for example, and to check each of the numbers if it is prime. To check if a number is prime, I need to check whether it can be divided to 2, 3, 5, and all the other prime numbers. You have this for to do this as part of your additional advanced topics homeworks, and this is the most important topic in this course. We'll have 5 problems at the exam, and 4 of them will require to use loops, because loops are things that we use constantly, every day, many times daily in any software development, not depending whether you write on PHP, in JavaScript, or in C# or Java. Loops are fundamental kind of computer control flow logic. Algorithms need to do some steps repeated one after another. So we'll learn how to use while loops with some condition, do while loops with some exit condition, how to use for loops to repeat something, certain number of steps, or how to use for each loop to iterate over a collection of elements. This is the primary part of this course, and the next topics are additional. The first additional topics are the so-called advanced topics. We'll take a glimpse over the some advanced things which we'll learn in the next courses of the Software University, which are methods, using arrays, using lists, using strings and text processing, using dictionaries, and defining and using simple classes. So we'll have another course which will inspect all these topics in deep details, but now we will just mention them. You have a question?
Yeah. So these advanced topics are not included in the basic course, which are then now?
Traditionally, these advanced topics are not part of the course, and you will be able to of this course.
All right.
But you will be able to solve all your problems at the exam without these advanced topics.
So they're
But
not included in the examination.
they are not included in the examination, right? But if you know them, your job will be easier. These are more powerful tools. For example, writing methods means to give a name to a piece of code and invoke through this name this piece of code several times. And this avoids repeating code. For example, if you need to perform 20 times some pieces of code at several places in your program, you can use methods. And this is very simple concept, but it's not part of this course, because if we put everything in this course, it will become very long, and it will be unmanageable to check your skills, to make the exams, etc., etc., etc. So this is look ahead, look forward, looking for what we will learn later in just few slides on methods, few slides on arrays, few slides on lists, few slides on strings. Once you learn these concepts, this will be the way you learn new languages. For example, if you know C#, learning Java is just arrays in Java are like in just, and you will be presented with the syntax. Once you know what is array, to learn how to use it in JavaScript, you will need just a few examples. So this concept of mixing detailed information on certain topic with some not detailed information on some advanced topics makes these topics, next topics familiar with you, and more the best students from you will learn them in advance and will become good developers even before the other courses. So the next topic will be preparation for the exam. We'll be given several exams from previous years in our trainings or similar trainings, and you will be, the assistants will solve these exams live. They will write the code live. They will work with you on the code. They will ask, okay, we have this problem. Please suggest how to start, what to do next. They will write the code, will interact with you, so you will be able to learn. In fact, the Software University is a project that was evolutionarily grown from a small set of lessons through a large software academy, and finally to a complete university program. So we have a lot of experience and a lot of training materials left and created during the time. For example, we have more than 100 sample problems. I'll give you a link later, not today. Problems similar to these problems that you have on the final exam. So if you solve all of them, and you can, if you learn to solve them fast, you will be well enough prepared for the final exam. So the final exam will be the end of this course, and it will be the most important step. It will be the check of your personal programming skills that you have acquired during this course, or that you have before the course, because some of you maybe are not beginners in programmers. This is great, and these people can look ahead and learn more advanced topics instead of staying and saying, I know this. Oh. Don't lose your time. Your time will never be enough, never. And you need to decide what to drop in order to complete successfully this course and the next courses, or you can drop these courses, of course. You're free to choose. To say a bit about the trainers team, this is me. I'm a training manager, the person who inspired this project. It was a long evolutional project. I'm training people for more than 10 years. This is my third training company. The first was sold to Telerik. Telerik was the largest training center in Bulgaria, the Telerik Academy. And finally, this evolved to a software university. I started when I was 12 years old, in 4th grade in class. I was working in computer privates. It was something like Apple II. It had 64 megabytes RAM, megabytes, not giga, but mega. And the first programs I wrote was on the console, and there were no way to, there was no text editor. This is something like programming through SMSs. Send SMS, next send, SMS send, and when you write 20 lines of code and you find a bug at the fifth line, you need to say, please erase fifth line, please put this instead of fifth line. But this was the start. Later I was passed through BASIC, Pascal, C, C++, later Java, C#, and a bit PHP and JavaScript. Of course, additional languages like SQL, HTML, etc. was part of my work, and I have a very large training experience as a trainer. I was built 3 companies for training software engineering professionals, and there are thousands of people in the software industry in Bulgaria who passed through our courses and started a job, because it's not a secret that if you want to start a job, you need to learn at the job to become internship student and to learn at the job, or to learn through books, or to learn through courses, but at the university you will be not prepared. At the traditional universities you will not be prepared. More about me you can learn at my home site, and it's in Bulgarian, sorry, but there is translation, it should be loaded button here. It's a bit ugly because it's Google Translation, but it works. The other trainers are mostly people who graduated the Software Academy, the training institution before the Software University. It was some program very similar to the Software University, but smaller in the time, not so long and not so deep. And they were top performers, and of course they work in good companies like VMware. Maybe most of you know VMware. The people who are the leader in the virtualization. Penka works in a company which makes very interesting things. You can see it, their websites. Evogi is SharePoint consultant and ASP.NET web developer. Velko works for a not well-known company which drives the London Stock Exchange real-time systems. TIC42 are real-time financial platform providers, and they operate with billions of electronic transactions in the London financial exchange institutions. And Theodor is one of the people who stand behind our training system. It's also still not translated in English, but it will be. This is the system, the e-learning system, where your course materials, homework submission stays, etc., etc., etc. He's also top performing graduate, because all of these people were people who already passed our trainings and who were in the top 5% out of 1,000 people. Yes. And Vlad Karamfilov is now currently game developer. He also were from the top performers. I intentionally invited for speakers people who passed this course, because they know the course very well and they know our training methodology very well. They were like you, trained in large groups of 200 people, which is not traditional in software development trainings. And additionally to these trainers, we'll have more than 50 volunteer teaching assistants. We need to congratulate them because they are not paid. They just come to share their knowledge and skills to you, to help you. And you are welcome to ask any questions with them, not only over the C# basic course, but generally on programming. And they will come on your laptop and will help you with any problem you have. So because I'm only one and there are hundreds of people in the training club, I cannot put enough attention to every one of you individually. That's why we have lots of trainers. These are the names of the people who will help you with the problems during the exercises and homework, and will help you in the forums, in the discussion forum that will soon start because it's not working now. And these people are volunteers, and maybe some of you, when become champions in this course after graduation, will become volunteer assistants for the next group that will come after you. That's how it works. Our training system is different than the traditional. We use large groups with many assistants and with only one trainer. We post videos, we use extensively forum discussions, something like Coursera, EDX, and Khan Academy, but in physical form, not in online form, combined with the best practices from online learning systems. These are the assistants in our current instance of the course in March 2014. We'll have this course repeated every 2 months. So if someone have missed the deadline to sign up for this course, he will be welcome to join later in the next instances of the same course. Also, we plan to run this course over different cities, not only in Sofia, but in Bulgaria in 20 cities and some days outside of Bulgaria. Let me give you some more details about the course duration, the languages, technologies that we shall cover. So the lectures are maybe half of the trainings in class, something like 16 hours on site, or if you miss some lecture in class, you can watch our YouTube videos, which are free without any registration. You just visit our YouTube channel, YouTube/Software University. Most of them are in Bulgarian. Sorry, my friends from India, Pakistan, and the United States, sorry. We'll change this maybe in a few years, but I think we should add subtitles. But YouTube is not very good in Bulgarian. And additionally, except the videos in YouTube and the on-site visits in class that you come here, we'll have practical exercises in class. In fact, you'll have a lecture, something like this, like it's now happening. We'll have a break, coffee break, and after the coffee break, most of you will stay here to work on their homeworks, exercises and homeworks. This is the same. And the assistants will come to help all of you. You are invited to ask them, to say, hey, I have a question, please come. This gives me an exception, please check my code. Or you are welcome to show how you solved some problem, because if you believe your problem is solved, you may not do the correct way of solving it. You may there may be something broken in your code, or it's always a good idea to have an external person who say, yes, this is correct, or it's not, or why you do write these 50 lines, I can do this in one single line. Do you know this method? Things like this, or you may learn many things. For example, how to stop using the mouse, for example, in Visual Studio. Not because mouse is dangerous, because mouse is slow. You need to move your hands out of the keyboard to use the mouse. So you can learn the shortcuts, things like macros, code snippets, etc., etc., etc. So it's highly recommended to stay in class and to learn not only from the system, but from the other people here, because learning in group is many times more efficient than than learning at home. Learning at home is something that you learn, someone comes, you put on the TV, watch some chauga, or, or some other music. Chauga is traditional folk music. Wow. People from Pakistan. You'll see something similar in maybe in the Indian music. So what about the homework? The homework is expected to be more times more intensive than the other the learning in class. If you don't put enough time, you'll fail at the exams. But I don't care because you are too much. We have 3,000 people who start this program, and only 400 of them will pass. This is by plan. If your results are too good, we'll put more people forward, but our plan is to have 400 people to become a part of the software university, because you are still not students in the software university, you are still not even candidates for the software university. You will become candidates when you go at the exam, and if you pass the exam, you will become students. That's the concept. This is a preliminary course that will just help you to take your entrance exam, which is exam in practical computer programming. The exam will be 6 hours, and I will talk more about it. It will be based on an automated judge system, which will automatically judge your submitted solutions and will assign you points depending on how correctly your programs work. And the time frame is starting from March, and in April, this course will finish. There will be 1 full week assigned for the exams, because 3,000 people will come here in the swap in groups of 200 people. You can calculate, we'll have 15 groups of people, and every day every group will have different exam, the same level of the same type of problems, but different, not the same, because you will talk with each other, so we cannot reuse the same problems more than once. And your score will be averaged. This means that if someday we give more hard problems than some other day, we'll scale the results to make more honest the way of evaluating you. So at the end of April, you'll come to exams, or most of you, maybe some of you will drop out earlier. And people who take the exam, there will be final standings. The first, for example, 400 of the people will be invited to sign up for the software university. After a few days, the deadline will pass, and some more people will be invited to sign up. For example, not the first, for example, the first 500. This is the second, was the standing, I don't know the word. And finally, the acceptance level will become lower, and the first 600 will be invited until all the places are filled. That's how it will work, but it's not so important for our C# basic course. Why we start with C#, .NET Framework, and Visual Studio? The reason is because most of you already use Windows. Am I correct?
Yes.
You are mostly Windows users. If I assign you to use VI in Linux environment and to compile through the console, it will be too hard for you. So we start with one of the easiest languages in the world, the C# language. It's modern, excellent start for beginners, very easy to learn compared to other languages, of course. It's a general purpose language. You can write web applications, console-based applications, graphical user interface applications, mobile applications, many things in C#. Very popular. There are millions of developers. If you search something in Google about C# programming, you most probably will find very fast what you need. And it's very powerful, good language, but not complex. Because C++ is even more powerful than C#, but it's complex. If you need to master C++, you need, for example, 5 years or so. If you want to master the C# language, not all technologies around it, just the language, you need several months. It's 10 times easier than C++, for example. It's easier than Java, because Java is something like C#, but without the good features inside. Just something like a good laptop, but without a mouse, without a microphone, without a camera, without a good keyboard, and with broken monitor. Java 8 seems a bit better, but you'll be able to compare in a few months what about it. PHP is not a good start for beginners because you need to learn to program, in the same time to learn web technologies, in the same time to learn server-side development, and it mixes many things together. So I don't recommend it for a start. I recommend for a start either Java or C# or C++, and the C++ is the most easier language to start with. Later, we'll pass through Java, PHP, Linux, HTML, SQL, and many other languages, as well as many technologies like jQuery, things like Entity Framework, and many others and others. XML. So you will learn 5 to 10 languages in the academy, 20 to 50 technologies, things like jQuery, things like Can-Do UI, for example, or Entity Framework, or the Java parser for XML. And you learn more and more every day during your job. And it will be normal now to learn Java and PHP and to start a job with Perl, for example. We don't teach Perl because it's not needed so much in the software development industry. But this doesn't mean that there are no jobs with Perl or with different technologies. For example, we don't teach Node.js, but you may find a job with Node.js. Someday we'll teach Node.js as well. We don't teach embedded C, or at least of the first years. It's planned for later stages of the university, but there are lots of developers who do such projects. Why we use English? This is about the people who study the Bulgarian version of our course. Just learn English and don't make excuses, because English is the only language who is required to be spoken than all developers in the world. And if you write programs, use English. Use English in your commands, in your identifier names, and everywhere in your documentation. Because if you purchase a new laptop, for example, and if your installation instructions are in Chinese, you'll be frustrated. The same applies if they are in Bulgarian and you are not Bulgarian. So the English is the language of the technology and the software industry. And now we have to pass through the maybe most important part for you. How we'll evaluate you, the criteria that we'll use to evaluate your skills, your knowledge, and things acquired during this course. We use exams as a primary measuring criteria of your skills. Exams are individual, So you work alone, not in groups, and you are allowed to use everything that you have except external help, except help from a person. For example, you can come with one briefcase with books. You can come with one laptop, tablets, and other things that may help you. You can come with flash drive with many source code, megabytes and gigabytes of source codes, programs, cheat tools, everything. But if we catch you communicating with someone during the exams, you will be fired. That's all. We use a scoring system in all of our courses at the Software University. This is a system based on several evaluational components: exam results, homeworks, forum activity. Later we'll add things like teamwork. You will not have teamwork at this course. We'll add this later. Things like presence in class with a card, with an access card at the front of the training club. And this score form your final results. These final results are used to evaluate you. The score from all courses during one level are your result for this level, and it's decided on your results whether you will be trained for free, at scholarship, etc., etc., etc. So your task is to get as more score as possible, and the primary source of scores are the exams. The C# exam is the admission criteria for the Software University, and let's explain what you have at the exam, and I'll give you a sample assignment, sample problem from the exam with a solution, and to explain you a bit. You'll have 5 practical problems in 6 hours. You'll be given these problems in a paper, printed, to make it a bit more complex to send these problems to someone else who is not in the training club, or it's not intended to have these problems and to help you illegally. We'll have also another system to prevent cheating, but I'll explain you a little bit later. So you have 5 problems. The first will be very easy. Things like someone was on the marketplace, he purchased 3 kilograms cucumbers, 5 kilograms tomatoes, etc., 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 and the pricing is cucumbers $2, tomatoes $1.5. Please calculate the total bill. This is really very, 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 very simple problem, and people from the kindergarten, maybe some of them will be able to solve this. This is for the 10 years old people. But this is the first problem. The second problem will be something like this. Please print a pine tree of given size, and or it's not pine tree, something like this. This requires you to know about whoops, or to be a very good copy paster, to write something: if n is 1, print this, else if n is 2, print this, and up to 100. Yes, this was one of the solutions to these problems that I was evaluating last year. This is the solution. One possible solution, of course. You just calculate, you make for loop from 0 to n, and you just calculate how many spaces to put here, how many asterisks to put here, then you print this, and symmetrically you print the same numbers of asterisks and same numbers of spaces, and this is repeated for each one. Normal, well-prepared student will be able to solve this problem in 5 to 10 minutes. This is normally. If you are not well prepared, you solve this problem in 1 hour. If you can't solve it in 1 hour, bad news. You'll probably not become a student at the software university. The next problems, you'll have more problems with loops, will be a little bit harder, and the most complex problem will be with bitwise operations. Things like you are given some numbers, you need to make some bitwise operations over them, for example, encode them with some cipher and some, this is not the correct, cipher, what's the word? So, the practical problems will take 6 hours. They will cover all the training topics except the advanced topics. We already discussed this. The advanced topic, this is one topic which is intended to look ahead in the training material. But if you learn it, you will be able to write more efficient, more smart solution, more you'll save some time. Some problems will be easier to be solved through advanced techniques, not techniques from this course. And the exams will be judged through the automated judge system, which provides you a real-time feedback. It will be a system similar to this one, Coder. Wow, it's in English, that's great. So if you take some exam for the first grade, wow, we can practice a bit. No content details, it's not working. We can try this. This was the Software Academy, and a sample exam is this. A sample first problem is this. Sorry for the Bulgarian. No, this should not be in Bulgarian. Yes, it's not. It's some playing with some numbers, arithmetics, etc., etc., etc. Secret messages, drun drun. It's not in English, drun drun. Yeah. So how you practice? You just put practice, login in the system. I need to put my student number, and you submit your source code. Just copy paste from Visual Studio, and choose a language. Will allow you to use C#, C++, Java, and JavaScript at the exam, but I recommend you C#. You submit, and a little bit later, this one maybe, or F5, the system evaluated my solution and said compile time error. Of course, this was not a C# program what I submitted. So the other problems are similar, and you have real-time feedback about what the other contestants have achieved during this time. So this is real-time feedback automated judge system, like what was the famous one? What? There are hundreds of such systems, but okay, I'll tell you later. So solutions are evaluated only for correctness, because we still have not learned the principles of building high quality programming code. But later in the other exams, we'll check not only if your results are correct, but also whether you write code correctly. Because you can achieve correct results with ugly code. For example, to write 100 ifs to print this. This should be made through loops, of course. So, also solutions will be automatically evaluated, which means that one broken symbol will cost you 0 points. This means if you need to output three integers split with a space, if you put comma instead of space, you'll get 0 points. But you have real-time feedback, and you can submit again the same, a new version for the same solution. So normally, if your solution is correct, you take 100 points, the maximum. If your solution is not correct, for example, not compiling or producing incorrect results, or just not producing anything, it will take 0 points. And if you are partially correct with your solution, you'll get partial points, like 70. We'll have a lot of training on this system. We'll clone this system, Coder, and we'll put our version. It will be located at judge.soft.uni.bg. Yes, it seems that okay, something like this. It will be put here as a link. So we'll have a lot of practice on this. Please be patient. We are now starting. Some things are not still working well in our learning system. We still don't have discussion forum because it's written 2 weeks ago, but we don't have design. We are waiting for the front-enders to make it look pretty. So I showed you the C# sample problem and sample solution, and let me explain you the scoring system for this course. You have different scoring system for any course, for every course. For example, for the PHP course, you have different criteria and different numbers of score for each criteria. But we split the course criteria into 2 types, for online students and for on-site students. On-site students need to pass the exam, need to submit homework and evaluations, and the online students for this course are not required to have homeworks. Let me explain you why. This is only for this course. Because we have people who program from 20 years ago. People who are experts in software engineering and in programming. And they come to the software university just to take their exams and just to graduate and take their higher education diploma. If we put requirement to have a homeworks, they will set fuck off and will not come. Normal. If you are senior software engineer and you take 5,000 euro salary, you will not put your time in submitting homeworks. Even though you are capable to do these homeworks in perfect form. That's why we split this, and most of the online students are some of the most, maybe half of the online students are people who already know programming very well, and this course serves as an entrance exam. That's why. But for you, for the people in these training clubs who are on-site students, the exam will be 80% and homeworks and evaluation will be the rest, 20% of the score. And activities in the forums will be able to give you additional bonus of 10%. How this works? At the exam, if you have the maximum results, you take 80 points. If you have submitted all your homeworks and your homeworks are good and well prepared and on time submitted, you will take more 10%. And if you evaluate as you are required and requested the other people's homeworks, you'll take another up to 10%. Normally, most people don't take 20 score from the homework because they are not always evaluated at the highest possible grade. How it works, we use the so-called peer review. This means that you evaluate someone else's homework and someone else evaluates your homework, and this is anonymous then. The same system is used in other massive open source course systems like Coursera, EDX, and others. So, because we use very intensive, people-intensive education system, we cannot check your homework. Just few calculations. We have 3,000 students, and each student have to submit 10, nearly 8, no, 10, 8 homeworks. Each homeworks of 10 to 20 problems. How many people we need to employ to check your homeworks? We cannot do this. We just cannot afford this. That's why your homework is designed to be peer review evaluated through a peer review. Someday we'll have automated judge system that will automatically, you just submit 7th problem and you take the score. We are not prepared for this, so we use automated judge system. And also, automated judging is not applicable to everything. It works well when you have some fixed format input and some fixed format output, and unique. But how to automatically evaluate a website? Is a site correct or good? Does it work good? Works good? It cannot be achieved everywhere. That's why we sometimes use these so-called peer reviews. The ideas of the peer reviews is that you give feedback to 3 other people who submitted the same homework. It works as follows. You are given some deadline for the homework. For example, for this homework, Introduction to Programming, you have homework, this homework, and the deadline is 22nd of March 2014. And once you, for example, I have submitted the homework and it's available here. Once the deadline passes, here I will have a link. Please check up this homework. I will be given a homework to someone else, belonging to someone else in the system. I will check it, see whether it's correct, whether all problems are solved, whether problems were correct. I will write some feedback and submit. And people who take the feedback will say, oh, this feedback is good or it's not. They don't see your score, they see your feedback. For example, if your feedback is okay, it's not good enough. If your feedback says, the first problem works correctly, the second problem has a bug, this is the bug, the third problem has this, this is not, this will be a good feedback. I will not get into very great details because during the practice you will ask in the forum, you will discuss this, and you will take some experience with this, but the idea is that you check the other people's code. You should be as honest as possible. You should be anonymous when you submit your feedback, not named Peshu Ivanov's homework, but something more anonymous. And if you do these peer reviews, and if people say your reviews are useful, you take your score, this 10th score. If you don't do this, you just pass without this score. The system is good because if you are very good at the exam, you will always be from the best students. If you are not so good at the exam, you can compensate with homework, which means that you work constantly, with evaluation, which means that you put more effort, and partially that's what companies want when they hire people. They want people who work hard. And the judge system I already explained. You submit C# code, etc., etc., etc. It automatically gives you the score. So it's not very interesting. I wanted to give you more information about the homework. Homework is essential for your study here at the Software University. Not only in this course, but in all courses. Because if you are good at the homeworks, you will be most probably good at the exams. And if you are good at the exams and homeworks, you have enough score to be from the good students. If you are from the good students, you will be most probably awarded with a scholarship to work for free. And when companies come to hire people, they will ask, who is the best student, right? If you're a company, who will you hire? People who are not coming, not putting any homework, and who solve 0 problems at the exam, or people who are in the top in all these criteria. Not always the companies hire the best people, because sometimes they have specific requirements. For example, they come and say, I need a person who knows German very well and Java in the same time. So someone who are not very good in Java will be hired. So this is about the hiring, about the scholarships, and about the internship programs. We have some informal agreement with companies like Facebook and other in Silicon Valley, also in Germany, who will hire and who will make internship programs for people from the university, but you should be from the top people. So there's a lot of motivation just to follow this score system and try to be from the first in the software university, from the first people. About the homeworks, you already have a work to submit a homework. You just submit some file and the system uploads it. It's allowed during the deadline, and the deadline is 2 weeks after the last group. For example, we have a group started in Wednesday, we have another group in Friday, we have 3 groups in Saturday, and 1 more group in Sunday. After the last group, we put 2 weeks more, and this is the deadline. Some people cheat in homeworks, and this is very tricky moment because some people want to work together with some other people, and this is allowed. This is highly recommended, in fact. If you come here with your colleagues, with the students from the academy to solve your problems together, you'll be more efficient. Just try. You'll be, if you were a student or person who prepared for exams, you know this, that when you come together with other people working on the same problems at the same time, you will be more efficient. So you are welcome in the training club or in the coffee area at any moment when we don't have other trainings here, and you can use the training facilities here to solve your problems. This is our, it's not in English, sorry, but this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So here it's free, you can come to solve problems. Here it's free, the training club is free, etc. Here we have trainings. So please come. Also, about homeworks taken from someone else. If two or more people submit the same homework, what to do? We just accept all of them. It's not very good to do this, but what else we can do? How to find the original source first. Second, if three people sit together and solve something, they will have similar code, right? Normal. And also, if I solve something and share it in the discussion forums, 20 more people will take it. So the homework, that's why the homework has not too big weight. The homework is only 10%. It's more measure of how effort you put and less measure about how skillful are you. How skillful are you? It's measured at the exam. And how effort you put is measured by different things like this in the forum. It's a combination because employers want people who are good in programming, but in the same time, they are not lazy. They are people who work hard. If you work hard, you will submit all the homeworks, you will make all the projects, you will do even additional work and things, you will start your blog, you will have a GitHub profile full of thousands of lines of code written by you. Every one of you will have a GitHub profile, etc., but please be patient. This will be done over the time. So that's how it works about the homeworks. If you cheat with the homeworks, you will fail at the exam. There is no good sense to take the homeworks from someone else and publish them as yours. Okay, you can take some points, some score, but you will not learn this material. You will not learn to program, and finally, it's not good for you. Maybe the final thing today for this lesson is the resources. The resources are the videos published at our website. The resources are these things. For example, today's resources is this lecture. You can download it and you take the PowerPoint file, which you see at the screen. You can watch a video. We'll start to publish many versions of these trainings. This is in Bulgarian, and from several speakers. So you'll be able at the website to watch videos from me, from my colleague, for example, a vlog from my colleague Penka, and other people. We'll record almost all of our training sessions here. Some of them we record through the camera, some of them only through Camtasia, through the screen recording software. And this is your primary resource. The most important thing are the homeworks. What are the homeworks? For each topic, you have the training, the presentation. This is your lesson. Your lesson will be the presentation plus videos. Mostly the videos are the interesting things, where the trainer starts Visual Studio, demonstrates in a live demo session what he wants to explain you, and later you have homework. The homework is a currently MS Word document, which says you should write a program which checks if a number is odd or even. This is one of code program, very simple. But later you will need to write a little bit more complex program. For example, program that checks for given point, for example, this point, whether it is inside this circle or not. You need to have to put some thinking here, because you need to know the radius, the location, how to calculate distance between points in the two-dimensional place, the so-called Euclidean distance, right? Something like this. Or to check if a number is prime. So the homeworks are not directly what we learn in the lesson. They use the instruments, the tools from the lesson, and the concepts from the lesson, but they are very different. And we sometimes have even more complex, marked with asterisks, exercises. And these exercises require additional skills and some creativeness, and you can help each other. For example, this exercise needs to check in a number n whether to extract the value at position P. This is a bitwise exchange. Sorry, it's exchange. You need to exchange 2 bits, something like this. This is about the homework, and the additional resource is this book. This is not necessarily to have this book. First, it's free. You can download it as PDF, you can read it online, and it explains in details, even with videos, with lessons, even with mind maps, what you should learn. This is, for example, mind map about data types in C#, which is very pleasant way to learn. And you have lots of training materials. You have this for Kindle, for ebook readers, here, download in different formats, and you can even order this book in a paper. It's just at the price of the paper, but I recommend paper version only if you travel or don't have enough battery on your laptop, or if you just prefer paper. International orders are not take too much money for shipping costs, and I don't recommend them. So this is additional resource. This is not primary resource. The primary resource are the videos and your work you put over solving the homeworks. This is your education. This is additional. Additionally, you have the website of the C# Basics course. Sorry for the Bulgarian, but you can use Google Translate to translate it. Here are the resources, and soon we'll have the forum. Sorry, currently we don't have it, but it will run very soon, at the end of this week. The forum, it's very important resource, because first we give score for the people who answer the others in the forum. So you are, it's good for you to answer if you know the answers of something that your colleagues ask, and also it's good to share what you have done in the forum, because if you have a solution for some of the problems or something interesting to share, it's a good place to do it. For 1 year, we created 150,000 discussions in our forum, in the previous forum, in the Software Academy. So I expect thousands and thousands and thousands of discussions every day. It will be your primary resource, especially for the online people. Because if you learn online and you don't have people around you to ask them why, you don't have assistants, you don't have trainers around, the forum is your primary way to ask, please help me with this problem. I cannot do the 6th problem. So you are invited to use it, even though it's not available now. The videos, slides, homeworks, assignments, projects are already published on the course website and will be published as long as we record a video, we publish it on the same date. As long as we put a homework, we publish it. So please check the site regularly. The textbooks have a Bulgarian and English version. It's free in electronic form, in PDF, in Kindle format, in other ebook readers formats, and in HTML. And you can order it in Bulgaria. It costs €5, just that's all, €5. And worldwide, it costs more because the shipping is expensive. We are not Deal Extreme or Tiny Deal. We are not the Chinese people. What to read if you want to read? The first 6 lessons from the books cover our first 6 lessons here in class. For example, we have data types, we have expressions and variables, we have loops, etc. The other topics are good to know, and if you learn this book or read this book in advance, it will help you during the next few courses. In the next half year or even more, we'll work a lot on this book because it covers object-oriented programming, it covers basics of programming, it covers advanced concepts of programming, data structures and algorithms, and high-quality code. These are 5 of our courses put into one single book. So if you have time, it's a good idea to use this book. You are allowed to read other books, other tutorials as well, but this is what we recommend because some books warn you in bad practices. For example, bad naming, things like button 1, check box 7, things which are not good. The learning system currently is available only in Bulgarian. Someday we'll translate it. In fact, it's translated. We just commented the code behind because we are still not ready to work with the entire people all over the world. They are too much. If 20,000 people sign up or 100,000 people sign up for this course, we need to hire 5 people to answer their emails only. And we need to purchase new hardware for the site, etc., etc., etc. Important, what software you need? You need a software, primary Visual Studio. Visual Studio has many editions. You have Express for Windows Desktop, which is completely free. It will serve well for you for this course, but if you want to complete the entire Software University program, it's recommended to have the full version of Visual Studio. For example, in the high quality code course, you need to measure code coverage, which is part of the Visual Studio Professional and higher editions. That's all you need. That's all you need, yes. If you need to run this in Linux, please run it in a virtual box or other virtualization platform and run Windows inside your Linux. There is Mono Develop and other tools in Linux, but they are not 100% compatible with the Microsoft technologies, so I don't recommend Mono. It will work, it will do the job, but it's on your own risk. You can use trial versions or some other versions. You know how to take them. And also Visual Studio with earlier versions and edition like Visual Studio 2008, 2005 will also work, but if you just install it, it's better to use it the latest version. I don't have Swite, but if you need to purchase a new laptop, if you, for example, you have a budget, you want to purchase a new laptop, I recommend 8 GB RAM and SSD disk. That's all. Any CPU, modern CPU, will work well. The SSD is the most important. It is something like $120. This is, I don't know how much, but if you already have laptop, at least 3 or 4 gigabytes RAM will do the job, and that's all. With less RAM it will not work. I recommend Windows 8, but Windows 7 will also do the job. Windows XP is not okay because Visual Studio 2013 does not support it. If you don't have a computer, in the training lab we have 35 computers. They have 16 gigabytes RAM, they have 4-core CPU, they are good enough. So you're welcome to use them. The concept of using these machines are first come, first served. So if you want to sit at a good place, please come earlier and put your jacket, at least, to take your place, your seat. That was the course introduction. 4 is for these boring things, but I need to explain you because you first come to the software university, you still have not experience with our training concept. That's why we put so much time in explaining some stupid things like what we learn, how exams work. After the first exam, you will know how exams work. After the first course, you will know how courses work, etc., 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 and the score system. And we'll put less time in explaining this, but I needed to explain all of this. So the C# basic course provides the very first steps in programming. This course will not make you professional. It's impossible. To become a professional, you need at least 1 year of very serious learning software development. The training program covers the concepts and basic skills in programming, how to write code, how to use the integrated development environment. In our case, this is Visual Studio. How to use variables, how to write control flow logics, and loop, and some advanced topics like methods, strings, etc. The practical exam is checked automatically by an automated judge system, and we use a score system which combines your exam results, homework results, and other criteria for scoring you. As primary learning resource, please use the videos and the lectures and homework assignments on our website. But additionally, I recommend the Fundamentals of Computer Programming book and, very important, the forum where you can ask questions. And please, in the forum, if the questions are asked in English, please answer in English. If the questions are asked in Bulgarian, please answer in Bulgarian, because we'll have people from Bulgaria. Maybe in the start, most people will be from Bulgaria, but someday we'll have a lot of people from other countries, and they will be unhappy to read Russian, or people from outside, when they see Cyrillic letters, they consider this is Russian. It's not Russian, it's Bulgarian. Questions, please. Do you have questions? You don't have questions? This is a Creative Commons licensed work, and you can smoke at the coffee outside. So I put a break. The break will be to 16.5.